try to keep this moving. But it's a very memorable day for Rumford to commemorate this area behind us. A very deserving individual, and that's Eugene Boivin. I was thinking last June is when we made it official that we were going to call this area the Eugene Boivin Park. And unfortunately, between Gene's health and the schedule, we just didn't fit it in while he was alive, which is, kind of bittersweet for all of us. But while Gene was up in the hospital, I went up and visited him, and I had brought a picture of what the sign would look like, and I had given him kind of a commemorative letter, and he was very appreciative. And what I remember the most about visiting Gene then is, despite his health conditions, he was never looking for any kind of pity or any kind of sorry. He wasn't feeling sorry for himself. He just always had that zest for life, even though he was waning, his hours were waning. So it's very, very deserving to call this park the Eugene Boivin Park, because there's going to be a lot of life here. We already see it when we walk down on the rocks. It gives you that feeling that, there's something good about being in Rumford. And for me, I can't think of a better place. It's probably one of the most memorable places, one of the most beautiful scenic views we have in all of our town. And now it's going to be dedicated to him. And we all know he kind of nudged us a little bit to get it going. We always called this the info booth, but I think now we're going to all know it as the Boivin Park area, because he put his Indians down there, and so many people now associate this area with that vision of what Rumford was years ago, and now what it's evolved to. And then we have over here the information center, which is, again, part of his initiative to create a better Rumford, a place for citizens to, meet and gather, and visitors to come by and enjoy what Rumford's all about. And then beyond him is the Paul Bunyan statue, which also has his fingerprints left on it, because he and others replaced the axe that had been stolen frequently from the statue. So we're very fortunate to have Gene as the memory to live by here, because he gave so much to the community. I think of, his probably his very humble background, but you could tell that it was instilled in him and in his family to give back to the community, not just public service, but also community service. And I knew personally some of the stories that he did, helping his neighbors, helping others, things that he never ever sought attention for. He just did it because he knew it was the right thing to do. He knew he could help, and he knew he could make Rumford a better place to be. So to me, I think we're all so fortunate. In fact, I said on the day of his funeral, we had that beautiful procession. I think we'll always remember that. I says, we're as proud as we are sad, because we're proud that we had somebody like Gene living amongst us and kind of prodding us along a little bit. He's very outspoken. Sometimes he maybe rubbed us the wrong way, but he never ever let that get between your friendship. And to me, that distinguished him more to me than anybody else, because he could speak his mind without fear that you were going to hold it against him or he'd hold it against you. I think that is a remarkable quality of anybody, to look back and say that. So I'm going to have Jerry and Chris, his family, come up and unveil this sign, and forevermore this will be known as the Eugene Boivin Park.
Thank you very much.
Now if I could have our legislative representative, Matt Peterson, the Honorable Matt Peterson, come up and say a few words.
Well, thank you. It's quite an honor to be here today, and it was quite an honor on March 25th to have Mrs. Boivin and Arthur at the House of Representatives, at the State House, to speak, to be able to speak about Mr. Boivin from the floor of the House. So it was quite a privilege. Like everyone here, he was certainly someone that had a massive influence on my life. that is rare in this world. So I'll just very briefly share some of the remarks that I made from the floor of the House that day. One of the real treats of legislative service is having the opportunity to hear at every one of our sessions sentiments expressed for outstanding achievements and lives well lived. Nothing is more inspiring than when the House presents a sentiment acknowledging someone from our own community and our own history. And it was a privilege that day to add a word or two to this tribute to Mr. Boivin. When you grow up in a small town, you become aware of what's happening all around you, both good and bad, even if you cannot understand the details. Activities and people reoccur constantly, and you catch sight of them almost wherever you go, always noticing them out of the corner of your eye. School events, community events, town events, some folks are always there and always making things happen. As a young person, you become aware when people are up to something, and Mr. Boivin was always up to something. What he was up to was something good, something designed to serve his neighbors in the town that he loved. Fire chief, selectman, school board member, tireless volunteer, with his bare hands, his huge heart, and a vision for what our community could be, Eugene, both literally and figuratively, helped to build Rumford into the unique part of the world that we are today. Maine towns are blessed to have these citizens like this, and Rumford was particularly fortunate to have Mr. Boivin, who was on just about every corner where there was something that needed to be done, or someone that needed to be helped, or a problem that needed a common sense solution. A life of service like that of Mr. Boivin inspires the next generation to pick up the work and continue the service. My world had been and was continuing to be forged by the care and service of Mr. Boivin's life, and I understand a little better now what his positive energy meant for my town as I was growing up. It is the spirit that is the best of Rumford, and I want to add my deepest appreciation to his wife Jerry and brother Arthur, who are here with us today for the great example he was to his friends and neighbors, and all the people of the River Valley who had a chance to see him in action. He is fondly remembered and will be missed. He touched many lives in many ways, and I'm proud to acknowledge the many ways in which he touched my life too. Thank you.
Brad? Okay.
You know, the first time I met Jay Eugene was side by side with Arthur, and we in many ways side by side. But he influenced me in the best way, you know, and it was to say what you mean and mean what you say, and that's what I got from Jay Eugene, and I'm grateful for that, and that's how I basically work today as far as working for the town, and because he did it that way, and he brought acknowledgement to the town of Rumford for all he's done, and if anybody, you know, would also pick up in that same idea, okay, I think Rumford will become the town it used to be, okay, and will continue to be. So I thank him for, you know, those words, and it's inspired me to continue working for the town.
I'll just say a few words.
Very good.
It's been 31 years that I've known Gene. In old 30. I've been here in 81. And we moved here with a strong accent of ours that was very annoying. And I met Gene a week after I came here. He was supposed to check my chimney for fire problems before we started border. And when he came, he right away took us under his wing, and he gave us something that he hasn't given to any other people except his own family. He gave us a family. Very quickly, he invited us for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We learned all of the French tradition. He loved to share them. He took us to the Maple Syrup Festival and Lake Megantic. He made us taste the crepe. He made me accept that I would have an accent and I shouldn't feel bad of it. I could talk in public, I could not be embarrassed, and he just made me go on. We share also a lot of political work, a lot of needs for work, and we share an incredible friendship. And I will remember him forever because he enhanced my life for the past 30 years as well as his family. And I want to thank him for that. Thank you.
Anybody else like to say anything before we conclude?
I just wanted to say everybody's invited to my mother's house after this event for some warm coffee and some refreshments.
Yeah, everybody got to know where Walnut Street is.
Yeah. You guys are all on your own where Walnut Street is.
Jim, did you?
I'd just like to say he was one of a kind. He wants everybody